Hello everybody, Jose Rodriguez here. Let's talk a little bit about the P800. As you all know, it cannot be reset if you're using refillable cards on printers that were issued to North American regions. That means Canada and the United States. I'm not sure about Mexico or Central America, but at least we know that it is impossible to reset our North American P800s. So we're not going to talk about the use of third-party inks, but Ardenberg just recently did the test on the PC K3 HD inks, and they found that the yellow ink is the weakest point and is the one that causes premature fading under the arduous conditions that they put their test prints through. Now, none of my prints have faded yet. They will not fade for years, so don't be scared of that. Now, the same ink set can be used on the P600 successfully. Those printers do reset. But here's the thing. You're paying about an eighth the cost of original inks. But if you want to take that ink set and bring it up a couple of notches as far as longevity goes, you may want to do this. Instead of refilling the yellow refillable card with the third-party source, get yourself an OEM card for that, an OEM yellow, original yellow, and you will almost immediately solve the problem with longevity, because the yellow is the weakest link on that ink set. All right, so that is a short and sweet message here, and I've been discussing this with Mark McCormick the last couple of days, and yeah, he absolutely agrees, because what he's seeing now is that the ink set for the P800 from PC did not stand up to the grueling exposure to light that they put them through. And very sad news, actually. Ardenberg's been around for years doing free ink longevity and paper longevity testing, but funding has gone to the toilet. No one is funding them. No one is giving them any donations. So this might be their last year. They have nothing scheduled for 2018 at all. They have no money to be able to run these. One test runs $1,200. Now, we were really interested to see how these inks performed, so that's why he actually offered to do the test. In other words, to include the test in this batch for this year. And so that's the only reason why we even have any information. And of course, even the best pigment inks, you know who they are. They do not stand up to the rigorous exposure to light. Probably about a tenth the longevity of the original OEM, the HD ink set for the P800. And of course, all of the new Sure color printers, they will not stand up to that. So it's not just that PC won't stand up to it. No one can. And the same thing goes with dye ink. So, don't be too surprised and don't be too shocked to hear that, oh, this person's inks do not stand up to, OEM. Of course not. Of course not. And I have talked about that numerous times. Protect your prints. Protect them. If they are matte fine art prints, spray them with a matte UV protectant spray. Get a good one, not a cheap one. I use the cheap ones, but that's just for experimental purposes. Get yourself a good one, because those sprayers are very good quality and they lay down a very fine film, all right, really even. And so they do not detract from the surface of the paper. So that will protect your paper almost to OEM levels. Serious. So do that. You'll be able to save tons of money, but at the same time, you'll be able to extend the longevity of your prints by simply spraying them with a UV protectant. That is all you have to do. And if you don't want to do that, then go ahead and put them in boxes. I just put them back in the same paper boxes that paper came in. So that's what I do. And whenever I have a really good image that is, worthy of framing, I will frame it under glass. You might be able to see these in the background. They've been there forever, and there's no evidence of any kind of fading on them. So again, it's all about protection. It's all about the environment. And of course, don't expect OEM to be the same as third party, which should be maybe about 1/10 the level of longevity. That's about average. And that seems like a whole lot. So in other words, it would be like 100 years. Okay, 10 years. 10 years is plenty for me, I think. All right, that's it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. And until the next time, and stop worrying about ink longevity, please. You could always reprint those prints. We're here to have fun, not to do scientific, long hair testing of prints. Some of you might be able to do that, but I'm just here to have fun with my printing, and so I'm not too worried about that. And I am here to bring you all as much information as I can dig up. All right, thank you once again. Happy printing, everybody. Bye-bye.